Okay, so here we are again, and I'm going to go through step by step how we configure the Raspberry Pi to work with your new Lightberry kit. So first off, you need to put your SD card with your, a blank SD card for your Raspberry Pi into your computer, and we're going to be downloading some bits and pieces. So what's really great now is Lightberry supports really great. They've got some pre-configured files for us that are going to make it really easy and straightforward to get everything up and running, certainly initially. So we're going to go to lightberry.eu, I'm going to go to download, and we're going to scroll down. Now, what we've got here are some pre-configured Raspberry Pi operating system images. So the one I'm going to go with right now for this video is I'm going to go with the Open Elec, and you just want to pick the one that's appropriate to your model of Raspberry Pi. So I'm doing this with a Raspberry Pi 3 today, which is got a few advantages over the old ones. A lot faster, it's got built-in Bluetooth, built-in Wi-Fi as well, which makes things a lot neater. So I'm going to download this one, and once that's downloaded and extracted, we're going to get a file, or a zip file, with this image inside of it. So OpenELEC rpi2.arm 6.0.3 lightberry.image. Okay, so that's our image file. We're going to learn how to write that to an SD card. If you don't know how to do that, then the Raspberry Pi website has some useful links for this to be able to tell you how to install it. I'm going to do it on my Mac now. I'm going to do it with a tool called the Apple Pi Baker. But if you're using Windows, you might just want to follow the guide here, and just be a little bit different. There'll be slightly different software that you use, but essentially the process is the same. So what else do we need as well? So we're going to download some other software. What I'm also going to do before I start that is I'm going to download the SD card formatter, and we're going to make sure that the SD card is all clean and ready to be used. So we'll start off with that actually. There it is, and it just opens up like this. So we just choose our SD card. The proper format that you should be doing is the overwrite format. That's the best practice. However, I'm going to do the quick format because you're watching. You can give your SD card a name if you want, so I'm just going to call it Lightberry. Okay, I'm just going to whack format. That's done. I'm going to go to my Apple Pi Baker, which is my software for writing the image file that we just downloaded to the SD card, or the micro SD card as it is for the Raspberry Pi 3. This is what this software looks like. You're essentially just choosing the SD card that you want. You're finding the image file that we've downloaded, the OpenELEC file. It's about 8 gig from memory, so let's just have a look here. It's this one here. You select the file, and then you simply click Restore Backup. And that's going to sit here for probably about 10 minutes before it completes. So we will come back very shortly, and that will be finished. Okay, so Apple Pi Baker's done. We're going to eject that just there, and my SD card, which is just in the side, should be ready here. So a Lightberry one, and then just inside that it's a little micro SD card, I think. There we are. Hello. Right, so we're going to head over to the big pile of cables. I've taken them out of the cable tidy for the moment. So I've plugged in all of my cables except this one, which I should have done. That is for my splitter. Let me just do that now. Come on, in you go. Okay, so everything's plugged in as I described earlier. I've just left the cable for the Raspberry Pi, the power cable there, unplugged. Also, what I've done for this here, I've plugged in an extra HDMI cable directly into the Raspberry Pi, and that's just gone directly into my television. And I'll show you why. you could possibly unplug some of the other cables to make this next part work, but I kind of want to see it all working at the same time, so that's going to be the easiest way to do it. Now I'm going to plug my SD card into my Raspberry Pi, which I can't do with one hand, so I'm just going to put the phone down for a second. Just pop that in there. Sorry about this moment of darkness. There we go. Right, so it's in there. And what we're going to do is we're going to power up the Raspberry Pi as well by plugging its power in. There isn't an off switch, so I'm just going to plug the cable in. Come on. There we are. So, what should happen now? Oh, some lights have started flashing. That's a good sign. And what should happen also is the Raspberry Pi should begin to boot. No, it's a black screen. There we go. It's taken some time. I panicked there. Right, so we've got some rainbow lights. That's a really good sign as well. That means that the lights are communicating properly with the Raspberry Pi. And we're into Open Elec, which is the operating system that's installed on here. Now, we're going to go and change some settings now to get things up and running a little bit better. Now, depending on what kind of television you've got, you might be really lucky and you might find that your regular TV remote all of a sudden allows you to control this menu on your Raspberry Pi. So it does some very clever things there that allow them to talk directly to each other. If you can't do that, all you're going to need to do is just plug a USB keyboard into the Raspberry Pi, and that will just allow you to navigate. So I'm just going to go through the menu. So I'm going to go across the system here. At the moment this is in Polish, so I'm just going to try to remember how to change it back to English. Right, let's have a look. What do you reckon? That top one, it mentions regional there, let's do that. And regional, there we go. So I'm just going to change this to English so I can read exactly what I'm doing. Up we go. English, English, English. English, there we go. Okay, right, there we are. Back to normal. And we'll just go back. So, here we are. We're in English. Now, you might not have even known that this is going to happen, but what you can also do is you can play videos and all sorts through this software directly. I don't use it for this myself, but we're going to configure the lights now. So we're going to go to Programs. I'm just going to go in there, and what you'll see already there's a Hyperion config creator. So I'm going to click on that, and we're just going to follow the instructions. So you're going to prepare your Hyperion config file in a wizard. So you're going to just tell it what kind of lights you've actually got there. I have got the Lightberry HD with the USB connector. The model of lights that I'd ordered there were the APA 102. If you've not opted for the USB connector, you will have connected your lights ever so slightly differently, and you'll have chosen one of the bottom options. I'm going to pick the top one, nice and easy, HD, USB. There we go. Now, I'm just going to answer some simple questions about how my lights are configured. So the way I have set up my lights, I have got 28, oh, I have to type it in. Oh no, backspace. 28 lights along the top and the bottom, I think. And I've got 17 along the sides. Okay. And it's going to ask you, would you like to download the settings? I'm going to click yes. Oh. Give me an error message there, but it's continuing. It's just going to ask some other questions as well. Where do your lights start on your television? So when you connect your lights, it's recommended that you have like starting in a corner. So start your lights here, go around the side, around all the way around. So in this example here, it's saying the left bottom corner goes up, whatever, pick however you've got it set up. So up, and it's detected my video grabber. That's a really good sign as well. Do you want to enable it? We certainly do. And now it's going to restart. There we go. Have you seen a rainbow swirl? We have. You've just seen it come on there. Again, really good sign that things are up and running. And it's just saying, just make sure your lights are in the right place. So my lights aren't going to be in exactly the right place, but that's okay. And it's just saying there, for the next 10 seconds, you're going to see a test screen. So there we go. As you can see there, my lights don't correspond with my with what's on the screen, and that's because I haven't actually got the lights in the way that I described them, starting in the bottom left corner. But that's okay. So I'm going to save that there. Hopefully for you, that will be good enough to get you up and running. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch across to my Xbox. In fact, no, I'll tell you what I'm going to do as well. We're going to just have a look at some of the other settings we can look at. So we're going to go to Settings, and we're going to go to Add-ons, and we're going to go to My Add-ons, and we're going to go to All, and we're going to scroll down this list. This might be a quicker way to do this. There we are. Until we find the Lightberry configurator, which is somewhere. Oh, where are you? Going nuts. Oh goodness, where are you? Should be here. Ah, there we are, so that's under H. So Hyperion config creator. And here you can just tweak some other settings. So it should be set up correctly for your lights. Smoothing, we'll come back to this, but I'm just going to change some settings. I'm just going to change the smoothing to, for me, I'm just going to set it down a little bit. I'm going to set it down to 90. And how often it updates. So this is basically when one of the lights changes between two colours, or it recognises the change between two colours, you can tell it to basically not change immediately. So it's going to wait 90 seconds and then it's going to smoothly transition from the first colour to the second colour. What you'll find is if you have that reacting too quickly, so if you have the time on 0, for example, you'll find that the lights are just going nuts all the time, and it can be a little bit distracting. I mean, you might prefer it like that, but I found it a bit too distracting. So I preferred a slightly slower, as some people would say in the comments, there's a little bit of lag on the lights, but actually it helps to capture the overall mood sometimes a little bit better. Black border detection is a control of, if you imagine you're watching a movie and you've got borders at the top and the bottom, you can tell the lights to automatically ignore the black borders and then look at the lights, the colours that are as part of the actual picture themselves. So there's a few little settings you can change here. We can do these later in the manual settings if we want to, and there's some other settings here that just allow you to change the different colours of the lights. So one setting I like to change, for example, threshold. What this does, this means that the lights, or the colour, has to reach a certain threshold before the lights display it. So personally, I don't like it when I've got a black scene on the screen and I've got lights coming out the back of my television. I prefer the lights to be off when the picture's off. So I'm just going to change that there. And again, we can do some of these manually later on, but sometimes it's nice and easy to do this just on your television. Grab a. If you're in other places outside of Europe, you may just want to change that to something else. Going to put mine back to PAL. Oh, come on. Okay. So my lights are all configured. I'm just going to go to the main menu, main screen, there we go, and I'm going to change my ports, not my ports, my inputs. I'm just going to turn on my Xbox and we'll see what happens. It's a cold boot. I think my Xbox has been turned off at the wall. And I just realised that if I haven't got a picture now, it's because I've put two cables back to front, so I'm just gonna swap that around briefly. I've got sound, I've got a picture. There we go. So my lights are working. Right now they're not reacting correctly to the Xbox. As you can see, they're actually lit up blue, which is the colour of that menu we were just looking at on the other port. So we're going to have to manually change some settings to ensure that the video grabber has main priority over anything else that's happening. So I'm going to go back to the PC. Okay, so before I go back to the PC, I'm just going to do some other little bits of configuration on the Pi itself directly, again with my TV remote or with your keyboard. What I want you to do is I want you to go to System, so scroll along to System, and we're going to go down to OpenELEC. Scroll down to Network, one step further, Connections, and what you will see here, we'll see I've got my Raspberry Pi plugged in with an Ethernet cable. So if you're doing the same, just make a note of your IP address just here, or you'll see the Wi-Fi. You'll see the different Wi-Fi connections appear. It's just going to reload those now. Let's just let that load up again. Working. Just scanning for the Wi-Fi networks. Anyway, what you can do is you can connect to your Wi-Fi network instead. That's the other way to do it. So connect to your Wi-Fi network, put your password in, and make a note of your IP address. You can see there's the one ending in 0.9. So either one of those, and we'll go back to the PC now. So we are back on the PC now. We're just going to go and change a setting to get the lights working correctly with the USB grabber. Hopefully in later versions of the Hyperion software and the Wizard, this will all be automatic, so you may not have the same problem if you're watching this video maybe a few months from now. We're going to just install a piece of software on your PC called CyberDuck. The only reason I'll pick this one is because it's available Windows and on Mac. So if you just want to download and install the one that is appropriate to you, and when you have, just open it. And we're going to do Open Connection. We're going to put the server or the IP address of your Raspberry Pi, which we had a moment ago, in. And the username is root. And the password is OpenELEC, all lowercase, so OPENELEC. And we're going to click Connect. Might give you a message there on the Mac. And it's going to load up something like this. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to go up to this search box here, and we're just going to type in .config. And you'll get a folder open there. Just going to double click that to open it, and we're going to find the actual configuration files here. So I'm just going to go into edit it and just edit it with some kind of text editor, Notepad, WordPad, text edit, and we're going to scroll through all of this stuff here. Let's make this bigger for you. This is just information about the position of your light and some lights and some other things. So we're going to go right to the bottom and we'll see some of the settings that we've changed. I'm just going to change this again to, this didn't save obviously. You can do other things here like change the boot pattern that appears. We get rainbow swirl as the standard one. You can see that the correct lights have been selected for me. But the bit that we're interested in is down here under grabber, and it's this part here, priority. So if like me you're probably going to use it just for your games console, your set-top box, you know, your normal stuff, we're just going to change the priority from 1200 to 800, and we're going to click just save that, and it should save and just get a little message to say it's been uploaded. Okay, so we'll just close that window there. All we've done there is we've given the USB capture or the USB grabber device higher priority than the open elec dashboard interface desktop thing that we were looking at before. So we're going to go back to the phone now and we'll have a look. We're going to restart the Raspberry Pi and hopefully everything should be up and running and functioning correctly. So let's hop across there now. So all we're going to do is we're just going to reboot the Raspberry Pi by unplugging it. Come on. Try it right hand. There we go. And plugging it in again. There are other ways to do that, but that's the simplest. If we go back, we can see the little boot sequence there, the red, the green and the blue. We should see a rainbow swirl, which we did. That means everything's functioning roughly. Ooh, finger. And let's turn on the Xbox and just see what's going on. So, now hopefully should have some lights, which we have. There we go. So the lights are now taking the information from the grabber and updating it. So we are all up and running. What you may find is that the lights around the edge of the screen maybe don't exactly correspond with what's going on the screen. So there might be some more in-depth configuration we can do to solve that. Generally, if you've aligned them correctly with the edge of the screen and you've got your numbers right and they're nice and even, that should match up pretty well. So I'm going to sign off for now. I'll do another video later maybe about just in-depth configuration for Hyperion. I've done one before, so if you want to have a look at that one that I've done, that gives you more information about how you can manually configure one. If you want me to make a more up-to-date one, maybe you could just drop me a comment. So I hope that's been of use to you. See you soon. Bye.